Hello everyone, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier had an amazing finale that showed Sam being a great Captain America. He displayed one core ideology that was crucial to Steve Rogers and to the idea of Captain America itself. In this video, I'm gonna tell you how Sam embodies this ideology and why it makes him Captain America. And of course, I'm also gonna tell you how this ideology can help you improve your life. Let's get right into it. So if you look at Steve Rogers, he has always had an ambition to do what is right, which is never easy to fulfill. His pursuit towards idealism is always full of roadblocks. In the first Avenger, he wanted to serve for his country, but the roadblocks were his physical conditions and the fact no one believed in him. But he didn't let that stop him and became Captain America anyway. Because what's more important is that Steve's willingness to strive for idealism is always stronger than the roadblocks he faces. This embodiment is displayed in all Captain America movies, but I think the one that is most relevant to Sam's story is the Winter Soldier, and a little bit of Civil War. In the Winter Soldier, Steve was one of the few that believed in idealism in a cold and grey world. A world where S.H.I.E.L.D. and the government was taken over by Hydra, an evil organization that wants to control the world. His roadblock was the fact that idealism, truth and justice and doing what's right is almost impossible in a world of corruption and coldness. But even though the odds were so against him, he will still strive for idealism. Because an idealistic person is someone who sees the world as it should be, not the way it is. Remember this. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier has this same formula, but it gets a bit more complicated for Sam. Steve gave Sam the shield to become Captain America, but Sam starts the show with imposter syndrome and thinking he's not the right one for the shield. That's the first roadblock. There are many more smaller roadblocks, like when Sam finds out Sharon had to run from the government because she followed Cap's way of doing the right thing. So Sam starts to question if Cap's way was right all along.
Just thinking about all the Sharon had to go through. Just makes me wonder how many people have to get steamrolled to make way for this hunk of metal. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I shouldn't have put it in a museum. Maybe I should have destroyed it.
However, Sam's biggest roadblock is the fact that he and we live in a world of bad systems and racism. Because there already was a black Captain America, but it didn't turn out so well. Isaiah Bradley is someone who took up the mantle of Captain America before Steve Rogers woke up. He did the exact same thing as Steve Rogers. His teammates were captured and he disobeyed orders to save his fellow teammates. But instead of being celebrated as the new Captain America, like Steve Rogers was, he got put in jail for doing the right thing.
You know what they did to me for being a hero? They put my in jail for 30 years.
Because he has no blonde hair or blue eyes like Steve. Imagine how much resistance and fear Sam has to become Captain America when someone else of the same color did the exact same thing but didn't get accepted for it. Isaiah tells Sam that America will never accept a black man to be Captain America. So for half of the episode in episode 5, he doubts himself and asks if becoming Captain America really is the right choice here. This is like Steve in the Winter Soldier, where he, an idealistic person, faced in a grey world, asks himself if idealism is the right or realistic choice. Or if it's the better choice to just go with the flow, to just blend in the survival of the fittest mentality and not stand up for truth and justice. They both face incredible hardships and ask whether idealism is a realistic choice. But just like Steve pushed through in the Winter Soldier, Sam will too. Because Sam comes to a conclusion.
What would be the point of all the pain and sacrifice if I wasn't willing to stand up and keep fighting?
And then he stands up. He decides to take the mantle of Captain America and he starts to work for it. We get a great training montage, which is a symbolic representation of how hard it is for him to become Captain America. It's symbolic for how hard it is to stand up for idealism in a world of racism. You see how much he struggles at the beginning, but then he passes his nephews and realizes what he's fighting for. His nephews need him as an example. He realizes it's worth it. The world needs to get better for them. So he starts training better, working harder, and embraces the identity of Captain America. He fights the Flag Smashers and rescues the hostages. One way his idealism gets really nice displayed here is when he doesn't want to fight Carly, aka the main villain. Everyone tells Sam that the only way to stop her is to kill her, but he is on the same side as her because he stands up for minorities, refugees and injustice. It's just her actions that go too far. Now this whole ideology hits home during Sam's speech and it emphasizes everything he fights for. Sam confronts the government about their wrong actions sending refugees back to their home after the snap. The senator talks about how complicated the situation is and that doing what is right isn't easy.
Look, I get it, but you have no idea how complicated this situation is.
But Sam gives an amazing argument that I think is relevant in the real world.
This isn't about easy decisions, Senator. I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand? Every time I pick this thing up, I know there are millions of people out there who are going to hate me for it. And there's nothing I can do to change it. No super serum, no blonde hair or blue eyes. The only power I have is that I believe we can do better.
And this is what makes Sam Captain America. Doing what is right is so complicated and hard for him. There are so many factors, both external and internal, that don't work in his favor. But that doesn't mean that stops him, because he believes that we can do better. He believes in idealism, and that's his only power. It's not a super serum, it's not some super strength, but only that belief can push him in the direction of doing what is right and overcoming those roadblocks. That is what Captain America is. And I think that is what we need in today's world when it comes to standing up to politics and standing up to injustice. Just like the senator, it's easy to get sucked up into the apathy and indifference. It's easy to just see the world the way it is and not do anything about it. But I think people need to stop looking at what is easy and start looking at what is right. This goes for refugees' rights, racism, and other problematic issues in the world. I wish I could elaborate more on this topic, but I don't have anything in my mind right now, and I think Sam's speech speaks for itself. And obviously, this ideology has a political intent to it, but I also think it can apply to your personal goals. Everything we want to achieve and work on has a ton of roadblocks and things that can make it complicated. Loss of motivation, other things we would rather do, imposter syndrome, and feelings that we can't do it. Feelings of disbelief. But it's during those moments, even when you're powerless, even when all the odds are against you, is when idealism is needed. The only thing stronger than roadblocks is idealism and the value you have of why you want to pursue it. I'm sorry if this sounds a bit shallow, to be honest. Anyway, personally, one other way that strengthens my idealism and motivation in general is seeing superheroes push through. Their inspiring ideologies makes me see the best version of myself, which translates to me working more on my goals, and also me being happier with myself. That's why I regularly make videos like these, so you can also get inspired and achieve your goals. If you're interested in more of that, hit the subscribe button so that you can get regularly inspired and make your life better. I hope you get inspired by this video. If you did, drop me a like if you want. Check out my other video on Captain America if you're interested. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and I will see you soon.